behind me, but that won't prevent the draw from taking place and from you to see the teams as they go into their groups and pots as the draw progresses. Well, to the business at hand, and it never really is downtime, is it? The focus in the Banner County right now is firmly on the inter-county season and our county teams. We're coming off the back of a thrilling opening round win for our senior hurlers in Munster last Sunday. And attention, of course, now turns to next Saturday's Munster Senior Football semi-final, where we welcome All-Ireland champions Kerry to Zimmer Biomet Páirc Uas Óg. And as well as that, of course, our two under-20 teams are in action tomorrow night. But even with all that going on, club preparations are quietly beginning in the background. Management teams across the county will already be looking ahead, planning and thinking about what might come out of these bowls in front of us in Clare Abbey tonight. Because just shy of 3 months' time, the Clare Club Championships will throw in, and it all starts here with tonight's draws. Beside me, I have a chairperson of Clare GA, Kieran Keaton. Kieran, the year don't be long coming around, does it?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't, Aaron. Yeah, we've obviously to prepare for the year ahead and let teams know who they'll be playing come the championship, and let our club players, who are our biggest cohort, 97% of players are club players. So aside from the lads representing the county, there's a lot of players around the county that want to know who they're playing in the championship. So yeah, it's time to let them know.
Yeah, and on the inter-county front, Kieran, at the moment, April and May always manic, but things going well for the Banner County at all levels.
Yes, exactly. We good weekend there, good performance and a good result obviously against Waterford. A couple of good results there from our under 20, both squads in recent weeks, and they're still obviously both on the road tomorrow night. Our minor teams as well, obviously still competing. The hurlers in the bridge on Friday night, and the footballers have a week off this week, and obviously the All-Ireland champions Kerry coming to Páirc Uas Óg on Saturday, so we're looking forward to giving them a good welcome and see can we give them a rattle.
Yeah, he says with a wry smile. Okay, lovely. But of course the business at hand is club, and we're going to start with our Junior A Championships in hurling first and then football. At the outset, I want to thank Martin Murphy Building and Civil Contractors, who have generously sponsored this championship for the last 3 years. Delighted to have the support of Martin Murphy Building and Civil Contractors. So we're going to go first of all, Kieran, with the Junior A hurling, and we have 2 pots. In the absence of the screen behind me, you can see it at home on your screens. In pot 1, we have the seeded sides who made the semi-final and were relegated from the level above last year. That is Ballyea, Clare Castle, Clooney Quinn and Newmarket-on-Fergus. And then in pot 2 we have Cratloe, Clonlara, Crusheen, Ennis Diamond, Ina Kilnamona and Wolf Tones. So, Kieran, we will go to pot 1 first of all, where we have, as I said, the seeded semi-finalists from last year.
First team out, Newmarket-on-Fergus.
Newmarket-on-Fergus, the first team out in the Junior A Hurling Championship draw. And we'll switch over now to Group 2. In the opposite group from Newmarket-on-Fergus in Group 2,
Clare Castle.
Would be Clare Castle. So the neighbours kept apart in the early group stages at least. We're going to go back to Group 1 and our third seeded team. Ballyea and Clooney Quinn to choose from.
Ballyea.
Ballyea are there indeed county finalists last year, defeated by the Banner in the final. And alongside Clare Castle in Group 2, Kieran, will be
Clooney Quinn.
Clooney Quinn, semi-finalists last year. And now we'll go into pot 2 to see the other 3 teams in each group. Okay? Remember the Junior A Championship, 2 groups of 5 teams, so we're back to Group 1. And who will be squaring up to Newmarket-on-Fergus and Ballyea in the group stages?
Clonlara.
Clonlara. Back to Group 2 to see who goes in alongside the Magpies and Clooney Quinn.
Just to mention what I'm doing is Martin Murphy Contractors are our sponsor of this competition. Wolf Tones, there's a team out there.
Wolf Tones, the Shana.
And Martin is busy working this evening, so couldn't make the draws, but thanks to Martin and his company for Indeed. Sponsoring both the Junior A football and hurling and the lower divisions as well. Next team out, Cratloe.
So Cratloe will square up to Newmarket, their neighbours, and Clonlara, their neighbours at the other side, and Ballyea. Cratloe in Group 1. And in Group 2,
Aina Kilnamona.
Kilnamona. Just one place to be filled in each of the groups.
Ennistimon.
Ennistimon. Ennistimon joined the market. Ballyea, Clonlara, Cratloe. And in Group 2, it should be
Crusheen.
and it is. Okay, hopefully you're seeing that on your screens at home. I'll recap it anyway. The Martin Murphy Building and Civil Contractors Junior A Hurling Championship. Group 1 will comprise of Newmarket and Fergus, Ballyea, Clonlara, Cratloe and Ennistimon. At the other side of the championship in Group 2, we have Clarecastle, Clooney Quinn, Wolftones Nashona, Aina Kilnamona and Crusheen. And that completes the Junior A Hurling Championship. Okay, I'll just call out while we're waiting here the order of the draws tonight, in case you're tuning in for your team. We've had the Junior A Hurling Championship. Next up is the Martin Murphy Junior A Football Championship. Then we'll have the Intermediate Hurling Championship, then the Intermediate Football Championship, then the Premier Intermediate Hurling Championship, and we'll finish with the two Senior Championships, Senior Football Championship first, and then the Senior Hurling Championship. So, the Junior A in this, in Pot 1, we'll have O'Curry's, Kilfenora, Kilmurray-Bricken and Lissy Casey. In Pot 2, we have Clarecastle, Clooney Quinn, Partine Meelick, Ballyvaughan and St. Senan's Kilkee. And in Pot 3, Clondegad, Clare, Cratloe, Currafin, Airroad, St. Breckens and Wolftones. Okay, so we'll do the same as the last time, Kieran. We will go with last season's semi-finalist and relegated team first of all. So in Pot 1, this will be to see who goes into Group 1. Four groups in this championship.
O'Curry's.
O'Curry's. Okay. O'Curry's go into Group 1. And in Group 2, we'll be choosing from either Kilfenora, Kilmurray-Bricken or Lissy Casey. And it is Lissy Casey. They'll be hoping to go one better, so narrowly beaten by Killimer in historic year for Killimer last year, who came out of this grade and will go up to intermediate. Group 3, the headline team in it.
Kilmurray-Bricken.
Be the Bricks, Kilmurray-Bricken. And in Group 4, that should leave Kilfenora. Indeed it is.
Kilfenora.
Kilfenora, the city of the crosses. And there's all last season semi-finalists. O'Curry's in Group 1, Lissy Casey in 2, Kilmurray-Bricken in 3 and Kilfenora in 4. So here, who will join O'Curry's? We're picking from Pot 2 this time. Clarecastle, Clooney Quinn, Partine Meelick, Ballyvaughan and St. Senan's Kilkee.
Clarecastle.
It's Clarecastle. They'll square up to O'Curry's. Let's see who will be drawing swords with Lissy Casey, county finalist from last year.
Partine Meelick.
Partine Meelick from South East Clare. Okay, and we'll see who will be taking on Kilmurray-Bricken in Group 3.
Ballyvaughan.
Ballyvaughan. And it should leave St. Senan's Kilkee, dare I say it, in Kilfenora's group.
Clooney Quinn.
Sorry, Clooney Quinn.
Yeah, there's five teams in this pot.
Clooney Quinn. I apologise, there are 5 teams in this pot, so we'll be going back, and the 5th team will be taking up their berth in Group 1, and that is indeed
St.
St.
Senan's.
Senan's Kilkee. Okay, the remaining 3 third place teams in Group 2, 3 and 4 will come from Pot 3, and indeed all the 4th drawn teams in those as well. On to Pot 3 now. This is for Group 2.
St. Breckens.
And it's St. Breckens. St. Breckens are in the same group as Lissy Casey, Partine Meelick. In Group 3, alongside Kilmurray Bricken and Ballyvaughan, we'll have
Clare.
Clare. And in Group 4, with Kilfenora and Clooney Quinn, Cratloe. Okay. We stay with pot 3, and this completes all the groups. So alongside O'Curry's, Clarecastle and St. Senan's Kilkee, we have Éire Óg of Ennis. Thank you, Kieran. This is the last drawn team in Group 2. Clondegad. The final position in Group 3 will be taken up by
Wolf Tones
and Nashona. And now we'll see who'll complete the Junior A football draw in Group 4. I'll recap on them in a second.
Corofin.
We have Corofin. Excellent. So hopefully you're seeing this at home on your device screens. The Junior A Football Championship, Group 1, O'Curry's, Clarecastle, St. Senan's Kilkee and Éire Óg Ennis. In Group 2, Lissy Casey, Cartine Meelick, St. Brecken's, Clondegad. In Group 3, Kilmurray Bricken, Ballyvaughan, Clare and Wolf Tones Nashona. And in Group 4, we have Kilfenora, Clooney Quinn, Cratloe and Corofin. Okay, the order of the games, by the way, will be with your club secretaries and PROs soon. They'll be, of course, decided before the championship. So we are on to draw 3 of the night, and Kieran, this is the Intermediate Hurling Championship. At this point, I'm delighted to be joined by Jimmy Brown. Jimmy, Chief Operations Officer at TUS, whose generous partnership with our Senior and Intermediate Club Championships in Clare extends into its 3rd year. Jimmy, thanks a million for joining us once again here in Clare Abbey for our draws. You and TUS delighted once again to be supporting local sport in the Banner County.
Absolutely, Aaron. I suppose the focal point of the early part of the season, the pre-season done in every club, and now the pots ahead of us for a championship. Every club looking forward to tonight as it gives a bit of focus and brings a spring to step to every team to go out training later in the week when they begin to know what the target is or the challenge is that they're going to face in championship. So delighted to be associated.
Indeed, and on behalf of Clare GA, Jimmy, thanks very much for your support over the last number of years, and it hasn't certainly, they've been great championships since TUS came on board. So the first championship that you are going to draw out, Jimmy, is going to be the Intermediate Hurling Championship, draw 3 of the night. So on your screens at home, you'll see we have 2 pots for this because there is 2 groups. And again, the seeded pot tonight comprises of Aina Kilnamona, Ogunlow, Kilmaley and Killanena. Okay, Aina Kilnamona, of course, who at the very death last year were beaten by Smith O'Brien's. So in Group 2 we have Banner, who are up, of course, from Junior A Hurling, Broadford, Éire Óg, O'Callaghan's Mills, Scariff and St. Joseph's Dura-Bearfield. This was a fantastic championship that could have gone any way at all. Congratulations to Smith O'Brien's from Killaloo, who were promoted from it, but we're intrigued to see what's going to come out of the pots. So we'll start with pot 1, Jimmy, and we'll draw from either Aina Kilnamona, Ogunlow, Kilmaley and Killanena to take their place in Group 1.
Killanena.
And it's Killanena. Plenty of talent in Killanena. They'll be hoping to get back into the Premier Intermediate grade. We'll go across now, same pot, Jimmy, and we'll go across to Group 2. Kilmaley are drawn out on top in Group 2 as team number 1. Same pot again, Jimmy, and we'll see who will join Killanena in Group 1.
Aina
Kilnamona. As I say, they'll be looking to go one better this season. And who will go alongside Kilmaley in Group 2?
It's Ogunlow.
Excellent. Okay, O'Gunlow, who made the semi-final stages in this championship last year. Now, we are going to fill the remainder of the positions from pot number 2. A reminder, Banner, Broadford, Erogue, The Mills, Scariff and St. Joseph's Door Bearfield in this pot. So let's see who joins Killanena and Ina Kilnamona Kieran in Group 1.
St. Joseph's.
St. Joseph's Door Bearfield. And we'll see who joins Kilmaley and O'Gunlow in Group 2. 2 groups of 5, remember, just like the Premier Intermediate Hurling Championship.
Callans Mills.
Callans Mills.
What do you mean?
So this is the second last team drawn in Group 1.
Broadford.
Broadford.
Okay.
Okay, and we'll see who goes into Group 2. Scariff.
Scariff.
Brilliant. And the last berth in each of the 2 groups.
The Banner.
The Banner. Promoted as Junior A champions in Clare last year.
And Erogue.
Erogue of Ennis fill the last position in Group 2. I'll call them back to you. So Group 1 in the TUS Intermediate Hurling Championship for next season, we'll see Killanena, Ina Kilnamona, St. Joseph's Door Bearfield, Broadford and the Banner. And in Group 2, we'll have Kilmaley with O'Gunlow, O'Callaghan's Mills, Scariff and Erogue of Ennis. And that is our 3rd draw completed for the night. And now we're on to the TUS Intermediate Football Championship. There are 3 groups in this draw. So we have 2 pots, and in pot 1 we have the teams seeded. Wolf Tones Nashona, Banner, Clondagad and Clare. In pot 2, Coolmeen, Ennistimon, Killimer, Junior A champions from last year, Kilroe Shamrocks, Liscannor, Michael Cusicks, Navone and Shannon Gales. This too was a brilliantly contested championship last season. So without further ado, we'll go to pot 1 and we'll pick out the 3 teams plus the remaining team will fall into Group 1.
Clondagad.
Okay, so top of Group 1 will be Clondagad, hoping for a return to senior football in Clare. Top team in Group 2 now.
The Banner.
Banner go into Group 2. Group 3. Clare. And we'll go back to Group 1 with should be a remaining team in there. And it is Wolf Tones Nashona. Okay, so the second team in Group 2 now, please, Kieran.
I'll let Jimmy keep going.
Jimmy,
My club is in there, so I don't want to be blamed.
Yeah.
There we are.
And there we are.
Navone.
Navone. So Navone will square up to the Banner in Group 2. And alongside last year's county finalist Clare, we are going to have Michael Cusicks. We're going to go back now to Group 1, please, Jimmy, from the same pot. Liscannor. Liscannor. Who survived in the grade last year in Group 2. Coolmeen. Coolmeen will take on the Banner and Navone. In Group 3, Ennistimon. Ennistimon's second side, of course, always extremely competitive at this grade. And now the final placings in all 3 groups. Gael Nashona, Shannon Gales. A handful for anybody in Group 1. In Group 2,
The Kilrush Shamrock.
Kilrush Shamrocks, many people's fancies over the last couple of years, just short in getting over the line. And the final position
Clare.
is Killimer, up from Junior A last year. So I'll recap on all three groups in the TUS Intermediate Football Championship for 2026. In Group 1, Clondegad, Wolf Tones, Liscannor and Shannon Gales. In Group 2, Banner, Naveown, Coolmean and Kilrush Shamrocks. In Group 3, Clare, Michael Cusicks, Ennistimon and Killimer. Okay, some mouth-watering ties to look forward to already there. Now we're going to switch over to the fifth draw of the night, and this is the TUS Premier Intermediate Hurling Championship. Just like the Intermediate Hurling Championship, there'll be two groups, Group 1 and Group 2, and 5 teams will take their place in each group. In Pot 1, we have the county finalists defeated by the Mills last year, Clare Castle, who will have renewed ambition this season. Corofin, who just dropped down from senior level last year, are in the same pot, as are two semi-finalists from the season gone by, Rouen and Whitegate. So Jimmy, we'll ask you to put your hand into pot 1 where the 4 seeded teams are, and this team will take the first position in Group 1, and it is on Gattabon, Whitegate. In Group 2, team going into position number 1,
It's Clare Castle.
Magpies of Clare Castle. Corofin, hoping to bounce back into senior level hurling, and they are the second team drawn out in Group 1, and the final of the seeded teams will take their position alongside Clare Castle in Group 2.
It's Rouen.
It is indeed Rouen. Okay, elsewhere in Pot 2, we have Bodyke, Partine Meelick, 6 Mile Bridge, newly promoted Smith O'Brien's, Tubber and Tulla. A great championship this. And literally anybody can beat anybody in it on a given day, as we saw throughout it last year. Who's first out, Kieran?
Partine Meelick.
Partine Meelick will play in the same group as Whitegate and Corofin in Group 1. And to go in with Clare Castle and Rouen in Group 2,
Bodyke. Under me.
Okay, the 4 placings in each group, so Jimmy. First out in Group 1, Tubber.
Tubber.
Remember Tubber so narrowly defeated in the county final 2 seasons ago and made the semi-final stage against Clare Castle last year. In Group 2,
It's Smith O'Brien's.
new lads up to this level, Smith O'Brien's. They'll be hoping to build on the momentum gained in Killaloo last year. Back to Group 1, and the final team in that group,
6 Mile Bridge.
6 Mile Bridge. And last out for Group 2, before I recap,
Tulla.
it'll be Tulla. Okay, so we'll go through those once more. If you want to check out your screens at home, in the TUS Premier Intermediate Hurling Championship, Group 1, Whitegate, Corofin, Partine Meelick, Tubber and 6 Mile Bridge. In Group 2, Clare Castle, Rouen, Bodyke, Smith O'Brien's and Tulla. And that is the 5th draw of the night, the TUS Premier Intermediate Hurling draw. So we're going to go ultimate draw, and it is the TUS Senior Football Championship draw. So there'll be an awful lot of interest in this. Remember, Aerogue, kingpins of Clare football at the moment. Last year, their near neighbours, St. Joseph's, Stora Bearfield, they'll be hoping to go one further, alongside other semi-finalists, Lissy, Casey and Cratloe. They are the 4 teams who are resident in Pot 1. And then the pretenders to the throne in Pot 2, Corofin, Dunbeg, Ennistimon, Kildysert, Kilmill, Kilmurray Bricken, St. Joseph's, Milltown Malbay and St. Breckens. So there's 3 groups in the Senior Football Championship, and as per normal, there will be 2 seeded teams in one of the groups, and 3 teams, Kieran, we're right to say, exit then that group into the qualification
that'll be
stages.
Group 1, Aaron, yeah.
So and that's Group 1, so we'll go from Group 1. So the first team out of Group 1, Jimmy?
Is Cratloe.
And it's Cratloe. Cratloe in Group 1. The first team in Group 2.
St. Joseph's, Bearfield.
Last year's county finalists, and were in contention in that game for an awful long time. With a young team, they'll be dangerous. Group 3.
Is Lissa Casey.
Another team full of young prospects. They'll really be hoping to make their impression on the senior championship this season. Back to the second seeded team in Group 1.
Is Aero Guinness.
Aero Guinness. I do believe Aero Guinness and Cratloe were actually in the group stages against each other last year, and also
I do agree,
in
yeah.
Group 1. So we're going to go to place number 2 now from the second pot in Group 2. Remember, only 2 teams.
Ennis
out of this
Diamond.
one, and it is Ennis Diamond. Beaten after extra time in the quarter-final stage last year in Corofin against Cratloe in Group 3. The second position in the group
Corofin.
goes to Corofin with that impressive final win over
Jimmy.
Clare last year.
true.
Now, we're going to go back to Group 1, and remember, 3 teams qualify from this group. So alongside county champions Aerogue and Cratloe will be
St. Joseph's, Milltown Malbay.
St. Joseph's of Milltown Malbay. The third team in Group 2,
Is Killadysert.
Killadysert. Another team with young prospects coming. The third team in Group 3 now, Jimmy.
Is Kilmurray Bricken.
They've gone nowhere either, Kilmurray Bricken. Okay, always there, thereabouts, if not winners of the Clare Senior Football Championship. The last team in Group 1, Kieran, alongside Cratloe, Aerogue and St.
Doonbeg.
Joseph's Milltown, and it's Doonbeg. Four team from Group 2 will be
Kilmehel.
Kilmel. And in Group 3, to complete the TUS Senior Football Championship draw,
St. Breckens.
St. Breckens. Again, a team that will be on the radar as a coming side for many people. So I'm going to recap over them. Exciting draws. Group 1 will see Cratloe with Aerogue of Ennis, St. Joseph's, Milltown Malbay and Doonbeg. Group 2, St. Joseph's, Bearfield, Ennis Diamond, Killdysert and Kilmel. And in Group 3, Lissy Casey, Corofin, Kilmurray Bricken and St. Breckens. Okay? You can already feel the excitement nearly down through the cameras. It's the last and final draw of the night, and one that a lot of people will definitely have been waiting through the coverage for, and it's the TUS Senior Hurling Championship draw. And remember, Aerogue of Ennis also county champions at this level. They are in pot 1 alongside Clooney Quinn, who had a tremendous year last year, as did Kilmaley, and never too far away, of course, Wiley Ballier. In pot 2, Broadford, Clonlara, Cratloe, Crusheen, Fecal, champions from 2 years ago, Ina Kilnamona, Newmarket and Fergus, O'Callaghan's Mills up from Premier Intermediate, Scariff, 6 Mile Bridge, St. Joseph's Bearfield and Wolf Tones Nashona. One of the most open and competitive championships across the country. Take it away, Jimmy. We'll go to pot 1 first of all and see who is team 1 in Group 1. One of last year's semi-finalists, but that doesn't make it any easier.
Ballier.
Ballier. Group 2,
Aerogue.
your champions, Aerogue of Ennis. Group 3,
Clooney Quinn.
Clooney Quinn. It means Group 4,
Is Kilmaley.
Kilmaley. So narrowly defeated after a brilliant year last year in the semi-final stages. So Group 1, alongside Ballier, Kieran,
Aina Kilnamona.
Aina Kilnamona. There's lots of oohs and ahs behind the camera there, but you could really say that for any group. And there's an any ball that comes out of the pot, but it's Aina Kilnamona with Ballyea, with their rogue, Kieran, will be trying to knock the champions off their perch.
Crusheen.
Crusheen will be one of them anyway. We go to Group 3. This team will be pitted alongside Clooney Quinn,
Cratlow.
and it's Cratlow. And we'll go to Group 4. Alongside Kilmaley, we're going to have
Newmarket and Fergus.
Newmarket and Fergus.
Jimmy. 4 more.
Staying in pot 2, so the third drawn teams in each group.
Clonlara.
Clonlara with Ballyea and Aina Kilnamona. They'll owe Ballyea one after the quarter-final last year, they'll feel. In Group 2 with Rogue and Crusheen,
The Scariff.
we'll have Scariff. In Group 3 with Clooney Quinn and Cratlow,
There's Fecal.
Fecal. In Group 4 with Kilmaley and Newmarket, Fecal renewing rivalry with Clooney Quinn and Cratlow the year before. In Group 4,
Wolf Tones.
with Tones and Shunna, alongside their near and dear neighbours, Martin and Fergus and Kilmaley. The last team in each group, in Group 1 with Ballyea, Aina Kilnamona and Clonlara, we will have
St. Joseph, Stuart
St.
Bearfield.
Joseph Stuart Bearfield. With Rogue, Crusheen and Scariff,
Broadford.
Broadford. With Clooney Quinn, Cratlow and Fecal,
O'Callaghan's Mills.
newly promoted O'Callaghan's Mills. And alongside Kilmaley, Newmarket and Wolf Tones, the one team I can think of
Yeah.
left, and it is
6 Mile
indeed
Bridge.
6 Mile Bridge. Okay. Well, it wasn't going to be any other way, but it's intriguing. In Group 1 of the TUS Senior Hurling Championship, we'll see Ballyea, Aina Kilnamona, Clonlara and St. Joseph Stuart Bearfield. In Group 2, Rogue of Ennis, Crusheen, Scariff and Broadford. In Group 3, Clooney Quinn, Cratlow, Fecal and O'Callaghan's Mills. And in Group 4, Kilmaley, Newmarket and Fergus, Wolf Tones and Shunna and 6 Mile Bridge. Thanks very much, lads. Got through the draw, no
Yes.
hiccups apart from our power cut, thankfully. So again, thanks to Jimmy and all at TUS for their generous sponsorship of Clare Club Championships, and indeed Martin Murphy Building and Civil Contractors for their kind sponsorship of our junior and lower level championships as well. To Kieran for conducting the draws, and for everybody behind the scenes who's prepared and got ready on the night along with Clare GA TV here at Clare Abbey. Before we go, a shameless plug. The Clare GA app was launched last week, just in the run-up to the Clare and Waterford match, so be sure to download it now on any iOS and Android device, where you can put in your name for the Banner Bonanza exciting monthly draw, get all your team news, fixtures, results, etc. So without further delay, and I might as well say for the first draw, there is a pair of free tickets to the mouth-watering derby clash between Limerick and Clare up for grabs, as well as fabulous cash prizes as well. So be sure to download the Clare GAA app now. So that's it. That conducts everything here tonight. Okay, there's a long way to go, but these draws won't be forgotten. Best of luck to all our inter-county teams who will be lining out in Clare jerseys before any clubs come up against each other in the championships. Can I live?